Now, more of your go-to for all things home. This is Home Answers Radio, presented by JeffBuysYourHouse.com, Access, Level 10 Coatings, Steiner Homes, Center Guard Plumbing, and by American Beam and Steel. Once again, here's Roger Piper.
Your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio.
Hi, welcome to Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. This show is all about your home. We talk about everything and anything to do with your home. And I'll make you one little promise. If you spend the next few minutes with us, you'll probably pick up at least a tip or two that you didn't know before. And today, our special guest is Ed Dring, and he's with LeavingIL.com. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me, Roger.
Now, Ed is a realtor. So if you're looking at selling your house, buying a house, Ed's a good guy to go to. But here's something really interesting, is that if you're looking at leaving the state, which we all know, I mean, the stats are out there, that
Right.
Illinois is one of the most
Yep, it's top three.
top three in the nation and people trying to get out. If you do that, you've got a friend here, because a lot of people will say, all right, I've had enough. I've had enough of politics. I've had enough of the weather. I've had enough of the, property taxes, and I'm leaving. And you have to do a lot of research on your own.
Right,
And
right.
that's hard.
Sure.
One advantage that you have, Ed, is that you created LeavingIL.com, and you have helped a lot of people, and you have a lot of answers to the questions that people really need to know if they're looking at leaving. Is that
Sure.
correct?
Right, right. What I try to do is to begin and have really good, deep conversations, to listen to what their needs are, find out where they want to move to, but some of the problems that they may be experiencing with their home. Okay, so what we try to do is eliminate all the stress and all those obstacles that they can sell their home and do it stress-free. And that's what I try to do, from finding a painter to a landscaper and being honest. Sometimes, we have hard conversations, and I like to just say that, hey, can we have a hard conversation? You need to fix this front yard. Absolutely. You're not going to sell your house like this. Mm-hmm. And then what I do is I say, okay, here's a few realtor or landscapers that I know, like, and trust, and they can give you some ideas. You can do it yourself. They'll have a phone conversation with you. If you want to FaceTime them, if they're not in the area, they'll help you, and then we'll put a plan together. How does that sound?
Yep. So, Ed, if somebody is looking at buying a home or
Sure.
selling their home, what's the advantage of using you instead of somebody else?
Okay. Well, what I would say is because I have a list of all these people that all these tradesmen that can really help the client, and I have the relationships with them. But most importantly, it's me. I go above and beyond. I got a call at 6:30 on the 4th of July. I took it because I recognized that number. It was someone who I had a conversation with, and I thought, you know what? What other realtor is going to be awake at 6:30 on the 4th of July to have a conversation and really help remove stress from their lives?
Yeah.
So that's it. You're getting me. You're getting all of me, the good and the bad. The good is I'm up at 4:30 every morning without an alarm clock because my mind is always going, trying, how do I be better? How can I be better? How can I help serve my clients better? And I start from there, and my day progresses, and I get phone calls all the time, and I try to take them. It's right now I work for myself, and the umbrella is the real estate company I work for is called Superior Homes Realty, and their motto is so true. It's superior service, superior results, and that's what I try to do every day when I wake up, and to provide superior service to my clients and people who aren't quite my clients.
Right.
Not yet.
So basically, you feel like you're personally invested.
100%. So the buck stops here. You've heard that. And I want to make sure that I can do what I say and give the people the service that they expect and deserve and go above and beyond. And that's what I try to do. Being in the trades, I was in the trades prior to being in real estate for over 20 years in HVAC. So, I have people always calling me, asking for help, and I'll drop what I'm doing to serve them because it's not all about me. It's about serving others. That's my motto.
Yep. And if you're in real estate and you have a background in the trades, I mean, that's a real advantage because you're looking at it from a homeowner's point of view.
Yes.
That has been through the repairs and understands all of that.
Yeah.
Because it can be very complicated, especially when you're looking at selling.
Sure.
Because when you're looking to sell, you have somebody saying, hey, we got to remodel this kitchen, or hey, we need to fix this yard, or we need to do all of these things. And then, sometimes you can get some recommendations, but you're not going to get a lot of times you're going to say, well, call somebody and fix it.
Right. But then there are also some, Roger, there's some circumstances where the homeowner, when they want to move, they're like, oh, I have to fix this, and this. And then I've already done a competitive market analysis. I've talked to my friends who own appraisal companies and said, really, here's what I've seen the property. What would you think that would be a reasonable price? And that number sometimes is going to be a static number, even if they say, hey, I want to put new carpeting in my house or I want to paint it. I said, you know what? Save your money because when people buy your home, they're going to want to paint it their color, not your color. Yeah. And they may not want carpeting. They might want hardwood floors. Mm-hmm. And that actually just happened about 2 weeks ago. So
as far as buying and selling homes right now, what are some of the challenges that seem to be there that maybe weren't there 2 or 3 years ago?
Well, that's a good question. I think right now in this climate, people are worried. They're just stressed out, Roger. They're stressed out about politics. They're stressed out about taxes. Some are stressed out about weather. But what I try to do is the difference would be is now because this whole economic climate is so bad in Illinois. What they're trying to do is they want to get out and they can't wait. Some people can't wait. But after having real conversations with them, I say, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you some bad news. You're going to have to wait because X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And so I'm not going to tell them what they always want to hear, but I'm going to tell them what they need to hear.
Now, you created LeibingIL.com,
yes.
And the entire reason for that is that you wanted to create an entity that made it, because there are so many people fleeing Illinois,
yes.
You wanted to create an entity to help people with that.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what they can expect if they go to that site.
Sure. What they do is they go to LeibingIL.com and check out the website. It's a great website, and there's a button that you click, and it's Start Your Exit Plan. And what they do is they put in some information and then where they want to go, if they're undecided, when they want to leave, and we go through about 10 questions. It only takes 2 minutes, and it's just a great starting place to have a really good conversation. And then I listen to them, and the more you listen, the more you learn. And what I find is most of the time, after the conversation, I'll have about a half-page list of things that I want to research in order to, I call it impress them, but it's really just to give them that service that they're expecting. Now,
there's no cost to this, right?
Zero cost.
Zero cost. So when you're doing that, the real advantage, if you decide that you're going to sell and you're going to move out of state, okay?
Right.
Which so many people are. I mean, the stats are there. If you're moving out of Illinois, the advantage of working with you is that you're already working with people that have done it.
Roger.
So you have
Yes.
the opportunity to pass that information on.
They can save hours and hours and hours, 10s, 20 100 hours because I've done the homework. I've made mistakes and I learned from them. So when they need to find a mover, I know exactly which mover to use based on where they're going to move and based on where they live. So that I know the right people who are going to make their life easier by going with me instead of calling, Sally Smith, who's a friend of a friend, who's going to list their home. And I just like to give that type of service, that hands-on service. So they're actually they're buying me as opposed to someone else.
Yep. And you give them the opportunity to find out information about where they're interested in.
Yes.
So the hot areas that people are moving to.
Sure.
And if somebody says, okay, I want to move to here, what you don't know, you're going to find out for them. So you're like
Absolutely.
somebody that's a good friend or maybe even an assistant when it comes to finding out this information.
Right.
And it costs nothing.
It costs nothing. So I make money when I refer them to the agent where they're going to move to. I make a small little portion of that commission.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want a trusted
Right.
realtor to recommend somebody?
Right.
Because they are in the industry and they can recommend somebody that knows your personality and how you're going to work with them.
Right. And I vet those companies. So I'll vet the moving company. I'll vet the realtor who's going to help the client because the last thing we ever want is to have the process go not smoothly.
Yeah.
I want to remove their stress. I don't want to add more stress.
Ed, thanks for being on the show. He's Ed Dring, and he's with leavingil.com. Again, go to the website, leavingil.com. It's Home Answers on AM 560, The Answer.